Proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury, and JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice. And the Cayman Islands National Museum. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture.
We ask our listeners and viewers to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990. 949-8037 or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Live from Radio Cayman Studio.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the Record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
With Orrett Connor.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is For the Record.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees. So fair. Today is January 31st, 2025, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. 11 months to go before Christmas. January, February, March, April, 3 months before the elections. Some people refer to it as the silly season. This is going to be a serious election coming up, and we see a lot of people participating as far as candidates are concerned, and we see the electoral rolls, the register of electors increasing as well. So a lot of enthusiasm in the air. Looking forward to it as well. We hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on our roads, we ask you to please be extremely cautious. If you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle, please observe the rules of the road. Remember, the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who have lost loved ones, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we wish you a speedy recovery. And again, today we give a big shout out to our colleague and friend here at Radio Cayman, DJ Lynn, wishing him all the best and a speedy recovery as well. And our friend over in Tampa as well, wishing her all the best and a speedy recovery. So folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I need not remind you that For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I have the distinct pleasure and honor of being your host. My name is Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. We have a toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. Two other landlines, 949-8037, 949-6990. A WhatsApp number, 925-3261. And of course, there's a beautiful radio voice waiting to take your calls, none other than Miss Susan Watson as well. Don't forget, you can follow us on YouTube. You do that simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream, and we are on Facebook as well. So folks, for the month of January, in celebration and promotion of Vocational Service Month, the Rotary Club Cayman Islands Sunset has been offering a quote each morning on For the Record, and we have been extremely happy to share those quotes with you. So today is the last day of January. So we end Vocational Service Month with this final thought from Rotary Sunset. Whether you're pursuing your passion or helping others find their calling, remember that your work matters and makes a difference. And Rotary Sunset would like to offer their thanks and appreciation to Radio Cayman for supporting and promoting Vocational Service Month in this way. And we want to say thank you to Rotary Central as well for all of the good civic work that you do as well, and we at Radio Cayman more than happy to assist you in your venture as well. So folks, we're going to look at the birthday shout-outs. Of course, the birthday shout-outs are brought to you by Coca-Cola, who are proud to support your birthday shout-outs. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. You should accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. And I'm going to give a big plug here, because starting next week, we will have an additional sponsor as well. So you can look forward to another sponsor for the birthday shoutouts. I want to say thank you for all of those who support the birthday shoutouts, and those of you who send in messages wanting to give shout outs to friends, family members, and we know that they are extremely appreciative of that as well. So we're going to look at some of the belated birthdays first. And our good friend and very popular Caymanian, Miss Zita May Bawden, she celebrated her birthday yesterday. So we want to wish her a happy belated birthday. Also, Mr. Abel Powery, I don't know if they pronounce it Abel or Abel, Abel Powery celebrated his birthday yesterday. Today, we see that Miss Kaylee Vaz, she's 8 years old, and she's celebrating her birthday today, and happy birthday greetings are coming from Miss Marva Jones. So happy birthday, Kaylee Vaz, on your 8th birthday today. And also Miss Marva, who's sending this birthday shout out to Kayla Vaz, she will be celebrating her birthday tomorrow as well. So we want to say in advance of tomorrow, happy birthday to Miss Marva Jones as well. Also, we see that Mr. Honorable Joey Hugh, Leader of the Opposition, he's celebrating his birthday today as well. And we want to wish him a happy birthday. And unfortunately, on Wednesday when he was on, I think we had already gone off the air. He was hoping to sort of like squeeze in when I was finishing my closing comments, but by then we had already switched over. There was someone he wanted to wish a happy birthday to as well. But so today, Mr. Joey Hughes celebrating his birthday. Tomorrow's birthday is Mr. Alfredo Whitaker. On the 1st of February, will be celebrating his birthday, as well as Elizabeth Whitaker. Miss Barbara Wilson, also celebrating her birthday. Our good friend, Miss Lana Mae Smith, celebrating her birthday tomorrow, February 1st as well. David Hall, celebrating his birthday tomorrow, February 1st. Anderson Armstrong also celebrating a birthday tomorrow, and Pamela Hall celebrating a birthday tomorrow. And my sister, Anna Smith, will be celebrating her birthday on the 2nd of February as well. And I believe Gary Wong, I got to double check the date for his as well, but he's early in February also. And folks, to remind you that the For the Record birthday shoutouts brought to you by Coca-Cola, who are proud to support your birthday shoutouts. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. You should accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. We're going to go to a commercial break, folks, and when we return, we will have on the line with us Mr. Dan Scott, who will be talking about the launch of his party, the Cayman Islands National Party, with 11 candidates and a plan for the Cayman Islands. He will be on the phone with us as soon as we return from this commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Affectionately known as Miss Kippy, Muriel Sims was a very humble person who had a passion for teaching and taught children at her residence on Goring Avenue, Georgetown, until children attended government school at the age of 7. Her classes were held outside without seating, and children wrote on slates instead of blackboards. At times, there would be 10 to 12 students attending classes, which were held under a tree, and throughout the day, the students would shift around according to the sun. The cost was a pence per child per day, although Miss Kippy turned no child away. For those who knew her best, Miss Kippy was kind, inspiring, pure, purposeful, and yearning always to better the community in which she lived, whether imparting knowledge to children or wishing the best for her fellow man. Information from this historical vignette was sourced from the Lions Club of Grand Cayman.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage, with tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. As promised, we have on the line Mr. Dan Scott, who is the president of the Cayman National, the elected leader of the Cayman National Party. On the line, Mr. Scott, good morning, sir. Welcome to For the Record. Congratulations on the launch of your party.
Good morning, Mr. Connor, and thank you very much, and thank you for having me this morning. I'm currently over in the BRAC getting organized for my first public meeting tomorrow evening, so my apologies, I'm not able to be there with you in person, but hopefully at a future date, at your convenience, would be delighted to join you with some of my fellow candidates in studio and obviously give public the opportunity to call in with any questions they may have. But
certainly looking forward to it. Yep, certainly looking forward to that as well. So tell us about your party.
Well, again, we're really excited to today officially launch the Cayman Islands National Party. We have, at this stage, a confirmed slate of 11 candidates. And this, as you would have seen, hopefully in the compass this morning, it's a very diverse but very capable group of people. And we're in the process of talking to a number of others who I expect will be joining us in the very near future. I guess we are a party, and as I think about what is our vision, what is our goal, we're a party focused on unity, on prosperity, and most importantly for us as a people, on hope. I think we all hear it all too often, the challenges that Caymanian citizens are faced with, and all of us, none of us are career politicians. Indeed, we come from a background of business, educators, community workers, and I think for each and every one of us it comes a point in time, as folks have done for us in the past, to say, okay, we are prepared to pay it forward. As you well know, sir, and you've been one of those, Cayman has a rich history of good people standing to make a difference, and the question becomes, what can we do to make a difference? And I think this group has come together, and we're passionate about pitching in, using our skills and our experience to do just that.
Okay. Is it your intention to run a full slate of candidates in every constituency eventually?
We will probably not have a full slate, but we will be very close to. Because there may be one or two constituencies that we take the view that those candidates may have served very well and indeed should continue to do so.
Okay. And as far as membership is concerned, other than the 11 candidates that you are putting forward now, can you speak about your general membership? How can persons become members of the party, the Cayman Islands National Party?
Well, thank you for asking that, Mr. Connor, and that will be one thing that you will see, that we will be engaging with the public on, and would welcome members to participate, to get involved, and in the early stages of this, it will be many things that they can do to help, but I'm looking forward to that, probably starting as soon as next week, the broader membership drive. We have a number of members who have already come on board, volunteers and otherwise, but we will be looking to expand that. And for us, one of the really important things for us is that we wanted to make sure that members, at whatever level that they come in at, have an equal vote, regardless of what the background was, regardless of what they are able to donate or contribute. They will all have an equal vote in the say of the way this party is shaped and the future of this party.
Okay. Do you currently have a website or where people can garner information from in relation to the party itself, the party's constitution, bylaws, and all of those things? Have those already been established?
Those have already been established. They would not have yet been posted up on the website. This morning we have launched the website as well, and as we engage with members, they will continue, or folks who are interested in being members, they will have full access to all that information, indeed including our constitution. A good landing spot for it, as I get ready for my meeting here in the BRAC, is if you go on my Facebook page, which is Dan Scott for Cayman BRAC East. There you will find all the necessary links to the party's website.
Okay, we have about 3 minutes left. Can you speak a little bit about your decision to run in the Sister Islands as opposed to Grand Cayman?
Well, I think part of this, Mr. Connor, is that it comes from where do we think we serve best. And probably most folks, and I think as I've spoken to my fellow candidates, it's sort of where your roots are, where do you find the energy and the folks who you think are there and you've grown together with and are there to support you. As you know, the broader Cayman Islands is a very small community overall. So that becomes, in my case, a decision that really goes back to my roots. And as I've talked to folks about, and we've talked about as candidates, it really does come down to where, because there's going to be good days and there's going to be tough days.
Challenging, yes.
When I look at myself, it's those people in your constituency that give you the energy and the drive to go forward. And in my case, I think a 7th generation Cayman BRACer. I'm told that my great-great-great-great-grandfather was probably the 2nd inhabitant of Cayman BRAC.
Wow.
But, some would suggest, and I joke with my good friend quite often, that he was the one that when Columbus arrived, he was the one catching the bow rope. Yeah, so for that reason, I chose Cayman BRAC East. It's a wonderful place. My wife Lisa and I, we have a lovely home over here that we acquired probably some 12 or 14 years ago. It is an historic home that was built by an old sea captain, Captain Spellman, and Lisa lovingly restored it, and we have thoroughly enjoyed it and enjoyed having time with the community here as well.
Okay. I want to give you an opportunity. We have about half a minute left for some closing comments. And my final question would be, are other members of your party over there today for this launch, or is it just you for your launch?
No, a number of other members will be joining us. We will also be having a full event here on March 1st, where we will have the full party platform, but a number of my fellow candidates will be joining us, and I think they're arriving this evening, but will be joining us tomorrow as well. And again, thank you so much for your time. I know your time is very short, but I look forward to being in touch, and I would welcome folks this evening to join us if you're able to make the trip up from Grand. And to all Cayman BRACers, I welcome you to the meeting tomorrow evening. It is at our house in the Creek at 6:30 p.m.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Scott. Looking forward to having more discussions with you, and want to wish you and your party all the best in the upcoming elections as well.
I look forward to it, sir. And I did want, as I said, this is my first interview, and we did want it with you, sir.
Thank
So
you.
I look forward
Thank you.
to it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All the best.
Bye-bye.
Folks, we've reached the top of the hour. Before we go, very quickly, we've been asked to send birthday greetings to Miss Esme, Peggy, and Thomas, whose birthday, I think it's today, the 31st of January. These are birthday greetings going out to the Honorable Joey Hugh, coming from his Georgetown North constituents, Miss Esme, Peggy, and Thomas. With that, folks, when we return, we're going to have Dr. Steve McField and Miss Theresa Pitcairn in the studio. Our first discussion this morning is going to be a roundtable discussion talking about the concept of one person, one vote, and single-member constituencies, how they relate to in the Cayman Islands. The conversation, it's not going to get testy, but you're going to find that we all don't agree on the same thing, but we're going to have a civil discussion so that you, the listening audience, can get a better understanding of these concepts, which are going to be thrown around quite a bit between now and the 30th of April. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now is 2 minutes past 8, brought to you with the kind compliments of Foster's.
Why is your drink so green? Is this some New Year trend?
Being healthy isn't a trend, it's a lifestyle, and I'm trying to do better, to be better.
Be better? Well, what's wrong with regular soda?
In moderation, nothing. But it's nice to have something nourishing.
Wow, you took New Year, New Me to heart.
You gotta when you're hoping to live well with Foster's and CG Britcay. It's a great free resource for healthy tips to help you achieve your wellness goals.
How do I start?
Check out livewell.fosters.ky and live well with Foster's and CG Britcay.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With a look at your latest news, I'm Jevi Ebanks. The first sitting of the third meeting of the 2024-2025 Parliamentary session starts today and is scheduled to begin at 10 a.m. In addition to any housekeeping issues such as tabling of annual reports, there are several bills expected to be debated, including the Customs and Border Control Amendment Bill, the Beneficial Ownership Transparency Bill, and the Anti-Sexual Harassment Bill. On Thursday, opposition members on the Standing Business Committee said two controversial bills they had planned to block from getting on the order paper, the National Conservation Amendment Bill and the Referendum Bill, are expected to be tabled during this meeting. It is expected to be the last time sitting MPs meet before the general election in April. Make sure to tune into our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, to hear the proceedings live. Budget increase for education, a new stamp series, and potential government motions to spark dialogue on immigration. Radio Cayman's Carson Fuller has more from Cabinet's January 21st meeting.
Up first, a move by Cabinet to rename the Thielen McCoy Primary School Hall to Francine Gardner Hall. Cayman's leaders approved a $366,000 increase to the budget for teaching of tertiary-level professional and vocational programs, as well as a $400,000 grant to Triple C School and a $500,000 grant to Wesleyan Christian Academy. That's in addition to the $50,000 grant confirmed for the school during Cabinet's January 4th meeting. Cabinet also agreed to decrease the budget for Ministry of Education by $500,000. The final money matter was a shifting of $117,000 from the budget for legal advice and representation in civil matters to law, teaching, and publications. Also at this meeting, Cabinet approved the Female National Heroes commemorative stamp issue as part of the 2025 stamp program, as well as a consultation paper and government motion for a national dialogue on, quote, proposed amendments to the Immigration Transition Act. Reporting for Radio Cayman News, I'm Carsley Fuller.
Thank you, Carsley. You can find the full summary online at gov.ky. First-time competitors John Gray High School takes the top spot at this year's Cayman Colas Krill Moot.
Colas Krill wishes to congratulate all participants in the 2024-2025 Colas Krill Cayman Moot competition, especially our winners John Gray High School and our runners-up Cayman Prep High School. The Moot competition sees students arguing fictional legal cases with coaching from Colas Krill lawyers.
Senior Association Kirsten Bailey tells Radio Cayman a record-breaking 60 students from high schools across Cayman participated in this year's competition, which runs annually from September to January. This year's competition culminated in the final hosted at the Grand Court, with Naya Shea Wedderburn and Asonia Sweeney of John Gray High School winning the moot. This is the first year the school has taken part in the mock trial competition.
The competition is open to students in year 10 and up, and the 2025-2026 competition will begin later this year. If you would like your school to participate, or if you are interested in our legal scholarships and internship program, visit our website, collaskrill.com, or reach out by email to cayman@collaskrill.com.
It's the third time that the moot has run in Cayman. That is your latest news. I'm Jevy Ebanks. Now to the BBC for headlines around the world.
BBC News, I'm John Shea. Uganda's army says it will strengthen its defences in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo as fighting escalates in the region. It says troops near the city of Beni will take a forward defensive position to prevent armed groups from exploiting the crisis. The German Parliament has delayed a debate on controversial legislation to tighten immigration by almost 2 hours. The measures were proposed by the main opposition Conservatives, despite them knowing they'd rely on the support of the far right for it to pass. Hamas have handed over the names of the next hostages to be freed as part of the Gaza ceasefire deal with Israel. The 3 men are expected to be released on Saturday. In return, Israel will free more Palestinian prisoners. The Health Ministry in Lebanon says 2 people were killed and 10 wounded in overnight Israeli airstrikes on the Bekaa Valley. The Israeli military said it targeted Hezbollah positions, including a weapons-making facility. Norway has seized a ship said to be crewed entirely by Russians over its suspected role in last week's damage to a fibre-optic cable in the Baltic Sea between Latvia and Sweden. The seizure was made at Latvia's request. Cambodia says it's had to halt many of its mine-clearing operations after the Trump administration ordered a 90-day suspension of foreign aid. Government members appealed to Washington to restart the funding, which affects dozens of demining teams. Myanmar's military government has extended the nationwide state of emergency for a further 6 months. It comes 4 years after the coup that plunged the country into civil war. And a study has found that India has doubled its tiger population over the last decade by improving conservation efforts. The changes include protecting the animals from poaching and habitat loss and reducing contact with humans. There are now about 3,600 tigers in India, around 75% of the global tiger population. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Join East End's first female independent candidate, Delmira Bodden, on Monday, February 3rd at 7:30 p.m. for a public meeting at Melly Dixon's Yard across from the seawall. Come out to hear all about education, cost of living, employment, housing, and more. Radio Cayman will be broadcasting this public meeting live from East End, Monday, February 3rd at 7:30 p.m.
Can you tell me what does a turtle do on his birthday? He celebrates!
Celebrate your loved one's special birthday with a birthday shoutout live on For the Record with Mr. Orrett Connor, only on Radio Cayman. WhatsApp your loved one's name to 925-3261. That's 925-3261. Radio Cayman's birthday shoutouts live on For the Record with Mr. Orrett Connor every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Brought to you by Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands. From Tortuga Wholesalers. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. And by Superior Auto. They keep your car in tune. Call 949-9570 or 525-9571.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 79 degrees. Relative humidity is 86%. The barometric pressure 30.02 inches and rising. The wind is northeast at 8 knots. Overnight low was 75. Synopsis indicate an area of high pressure over the central Atlantic will continue to support moderate to fresh winds and seas across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours. An increase in chance of showers from this afternoon is likely in association with residual moisture moving across the northwestern Caribbean. Radar images show isolated showers in the Cayman area moving towards the west. Now the forecast for the Cayman Islands for today, calling for partly cloudy with cloudy spells and a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will be in the mid-80s. Winds will be easterly at 10 to 15 knots and seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. Pretty much the same for tonight, partly cloudy with a 20% chance of showers and temperatures falling to the mid to upper 70s. Winds will be easterly at 10 to 15 knots and seas will be moderate with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. High tide will occur this morning at 10:53, low tide this evening at 5:18, and a high tide again tonight at 12 minutes after 11. The sun will set this evening at 6:17 and will rise tomorrow morning at 7. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Sunday afternoon. And that's the very latest on your weather report.
Attention Red Bay and Prospect families. Join me, Roy Tatum, your PPM candidate for Red Bay.
And me, Crystal Gomez-Wilson, your PPM candidate for Prospect.
For a fun-filled day to celebrate the everyday superheroes in our community. Mark your calendars for the Post-Heroes Day Family Fun Day.
Join us on Saturday, February 1st from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Eddie Sanchez Community Park on Victory Avenue and Prospect Drive. Enjoy free food and music, face painting for the kids, inflatables and games for all ages, and free photos to capture those special moments.
We can't wait to see you there. 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday, February 1st at the Eddie Sanchez Community Park.
Sponsored by your People's Progressive Movement candidates Crystal Gomez-Wilson, Prospect candidate, and Roy Tatum, a Red Bay candidate.
Has your child been diagnosed with ADHD, or have you been told to seek an assessment for your child based on certain hyperactive, inattentive, or impulsive behaviors? Then the Family Resource Center's Understanding ADHD virtual workshop can help. The workshop supports parents' understanding of ADHD, parenting strategies for children with ADHD, and other useful information to support your child. Contact Family Resource Center at frc@gov.ky to reserve your spot for this free workshop.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Good morning again. Let's take a look this time at what's happening on the roads. Traffic is heavy on the Linford Pearson Highway, slow moving on Cool Road heading to Georgetown. Coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, steady traffic and continuing on to Huldah Avenue. As we look to the Westway Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moving along moderately in both directions, and traffic flowing pretty good coming from the Westway four-way stop. Further up on Shamrock Road and Rex Creighton Boulevard, flowing moderately. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue, traffic is flowing at a good pace in both directions. Coming off of the Esley Tibbetts Highway, steady but flowing traffic. Continuing on to North Sound Road, moderate flow of traffic heading towards the Industrial Park area. Remember, 8 Street is closed and diversion in place. And that's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes past 12. We'll give you another look at traffic.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise its customers of a planned service interruption in Bodden Town today, Friday, 31st of January, between the hours of 9:30 a.m. and 11:30 today, to facilitate the connection of a subdivision. The following roads will be affected by service interruption: Bristol Heights Drive, Fern Rock Drive, and Fern Cliff Close. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its customers and the motoring public as it upgrades its water infrastructure, and to apologize for any inconvenience caused.
Dream big, Cayman. The Ministry of Education is here to help you make it happen. With overseas scholarships for the 2025-2026 academic year, you can receive up to CI $35,000 per year to study abroad. Whether it's your first step toward greatness or the next step in your journey, the possibilities are endless. But don't wait. Applications close January 31st, 2025. Visit moescholarships.gov.ky and make your move today. Your future is calling. Answer it now.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me none other than, and no stranger to For the Record, Miss Theresa Pitcairn. We are going to be joined by Dr. Steve McField also. So while we await Dr. McField, Miss T, you got the full stage for yourself, and I know that you want to dispel some, rumors that are out there. You want to make it abundantly clear what your position is as far as these upcoming elections are concerned. First of all, let me say good morning and welcome back to For the Record.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to come and participate in your show. It's always a pleasure to engage with the public, listen to the temperature, what people have to say, and I'd like to share a warm good morning in this new year. I know that I've been on, Sterling invited me to participate in his show earlier in the year to talk about voter apathy, and so did Catherine. And this morning now it's one man, one vote, and I have to say that I took a pillaring and a hammering from people like the one Honorable Arden McLean, the one Honorable Roy Borden, and Honorable Gilbert McLean, and Dr. Steve, because I was the only person in the room that was not necessarily in favor of one man, one vote. And it's not because I didn't recognize that we needed some type of change to ensure that we had proper representation. But the concern, and I think and as I was coming into the show this morning, I was thinking of some of the reasons which may have contributed to the way in which my colleagues responded to me. And at that time, this was in 2000, when I ran the political campaign for the Honorable Roy Borden and the Honorable Gilbert McLean, I think in retrospect, they were so close to what was going on politically. So was Dr. Steve.
Mm-hmm.
So they were unable to hear the rationale that I was presenting when we were having this conversation about one man, one vote. Because remember, I was in the private sector. I was aware of issues relating to immigration and how that impacted not just the private sector, but how it impacted Caymanian success and succession planning.
Mm-hmm.
I was also the former chairman of the Caymanian Bar Association, so I was familiar with some of the nuanced issues that people were unwilling to talk out loud, as we do these days. And I also had a sense of understanding, because in those days I used to teach the Sunday school in Bordentown, so I was aware of community issues or awareness levels. I knew what was going on in the school, so I had a broad vision of how I approached this idea of one man, one vote. And even then, my view was that there are certain issues that you want, because I know Arden always talk about politics as being tangible, visible, and so on.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I used to say that that's important, but those are issues, for example, that could be addressed by community councils. And we didn't have that, that wasn't the way we described it at that time, but that was my view, because the other international issues that we deal with, how to run the community, the role of the private sector, the role of finance, and so on, these are not issues that we necessarily discussed with our constituents and members, because their concerns are not necessarily the same as those that you need on a global level. So I couldn't see how what we were doing would satisfy some of the concerns that I know the Honorable Ezra Miller also had.
Mm-hmm.
Because all it really took, if you were in Northside or East End, for example, where you have less constituents and members issues to address, all it really took was a couple of friends, family members, and so on, and you get elected with a couple hundred votes. And how do you compare? And I'm not making this facile or anything, but this is real. And how do you compare that to other constituencies that are larger, and they may have different requirements as well? So those were issues that I found did not really resonate with the whole notion of one man, one vote. So it's no surprise, and I wanted to caution my good friend Arden McLean, because I remembered when he won, he hammered me. He really, really hammered me. And we talked about the whole turtle stew issues, because at that time, and I don't see, in fact, how what we're doing now with these new persons who are calling themselves parties, how that will be necessarily different from what we have experienced in the past. I say that too with the understanding that in most elections, 70% of the incumbents usually get back in,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that you take, unless something happens like what happened when the PPM got elected the first time with a complete sweep,
Yes.
unless there's something similar to that, I don't see how what we're doing in this coming election, whether it's going to be significantly different. But to touch on my good friend Arden, because he really punched me up really badly about this. And we were from pillar to post when they were trying to form a government. And I was on the call with him, on the call with the Honorable Roy Borden and Gilbert, and not seeing any sense of cohesion or coherence. And I know that, Mr. Bush had his people, the 4 candidates from West Bay. So it was trying to make sense of that. And so it was no surprise that what happened consequent to the turtle stew and the breadfruit, that relationship didn't really survive. And you had one person going over the aisle to because they were upset or something, about decisions that we're making and so on. So we have a Westminster form government system, and the way in which we organize groups, you can't have that as a success without a structured, coherent group of people who've worked with each other, because it's like with Bustamante in 43, I think it was, he came out of the trade union. So he was able to develop and monitor and, galvanize a lot of people to get involved, and they chose him. We don't have a situation today where the people choosing these folks that say that they're running for office and being the leaders.
Mm-hmm.
So those are some of the things, I'd like to us to flesh out when we have the conversation this morning, if you don't mind. I know I kind of went around.
No, that's
but,
okay. That's
I
okay.
thought I'd identify some of the challenges. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And one of our listeners has already written in and said, morning, I was hoping that Ms. Theresa would be running, for this election. And, so let's talk about your decision.
Yeah.
And,
so I had intentions of running, and I thought that it was resolved in November of last year. But things, transpired that made it impossible for me to run. So, and I visited quite a number of people in the last month or so, with a number of ladies who were helping me with the campaign. It was such an embracing experience because people want change. I don't think they understand what it will take to execute the change that they're requiring, because it's not based on what I've seen thus far. And I mean, politics is long. I mean, we still have 3 months. Based on what I see that is being galvanized now, I don't think that you're necessarily going to get that kind of change that you want. I think I went to many, many homes over the last month, and there was only, out of all the homes I visited, there was only one person who said that please come back. I'd much rather that you were running with some other group. But no other person, no other home I went into OC questioned the fact that I would have been running as an independent, because they said it's about time that we have somebody who has demonstrated through the history of your behavior and your, one lady said, you don't know me, but I always wish and welcome when you're on the talk show with Dr. McField, because you bring a certain dynamism and a certain clarity, a certain transparency and a certain integrity to the conversation. And she quite a few other people said that is so lacking in our leadership today. Rightly or wrongly, this is the impression that Caymanians or people who have the ability to vote, this is the impression that they have, and they feel that they've been left behind. Caymanians, and the thing with me, I've always raised the very tough issues and never been afraid, to talk about them and talk about them honestly. And that's what a lot of people were saying, to me as well. An older lady said to me, listening to you is like listening to my, my own kids, having a desire for them to emulate what you bring to this community. I was humbled. Honestly, I was, because you don't really know how people see you. You have your little friends and stuff like that, but you don't really have a clear sense of how people see you and embrace you. Because to be honest, the way I was raised in the community, because I have always been outspoken, because I've always been out there, I have always felt as though people felt, in fact, one lady said to me at a luncheon the other, she said, Theresa, we know where you stand. It's a A or a B, it's a left or a right. You're never somebody that's going to pull out, and say things that are not necessarily true. And she said, people resent you because that's exactly who you are. And so I get that sense that when you're independent as I am, when you have fought some of the battles that I have in this community, starting from the time I was Miss Cayman, and, taking on, tough issues, there are folks that really resent that. But the younger people today, they're saying that you're the bomb.com. So, so you just have to try and measure this, but always wanting to put country first and doing the right thing. And the other day, again, I was asked to deliver a keynote speech. Someone came back to me and says, well, Theresa, they charge $5,000 for this. What's your charge? I says, it's the same, for free. I do what I do, whether it's drafting legislation for this country, whether it's being engaged with discussions with our youth or with our leaders, no charge. Yeah.
So those persons that you visited, do you have intentions of contacting them now to tell them of the change of plans? Because you don't want to burn your bridges, because 4 years is not a long period of time, and we know these days that some governments don't even last 4 years.
So never say never. If you, and again, hand on heart, the 4 ladies that walked every night with me when I did those, house to house, I said to them that, come this weekend, we're going to go back and do the same walk to those same homes and speak to those same people. And I will tell them the reason why I'm not running and do it on a one-to-one, because it would just simply be disrespectful not to do that. So they're prepared. They will tell you, we ran a really, really, really tight ship. And so we will see what happens now.
Okay, so we're going to take a commercial break. Here's one of the things that we will address. This is the feedback from one of our listeners, and says, "Good morning to you all. Well, this one man, one vote foolishness. Now I'm living in the west of the Brack, and I wanted to vote for Mr. Scott. How foolish this is. Thank you." The whole concept of one man, one vote, that's why we're going to explain it. Of course, there are various options for the Brack. For instance, the Brack already has a carve-out in our constitution that say that no matter what, the Brack, you must return 2 members to Parliament from the Brack. Yeah. There's no other district or constituency that has that carve-out. So, they have a particular carve-out there. Now, whether or not they want at the end of the day to say, well, we don't want the Brack to be divided as such, and we want the Brack to be one big constituency rather than, having Cayman Brack East and Cayman Brack West. We want it to be one big constituency. Then the person gets the opportunity to vote for the person that they want if the Brack is taken as a whole. That is an option for them at the end of the day. If they wanted to bring those things forward to our Electoral Boundary Commission, review.
But, and that we can touch on that too. But that's absolutely right. We'd obviously have to make quite a number of constitutional changes around that. But yeah, and we saw that, Dr. McField and others completed that boundary revision, and folks decided that they didn't want to implement it. And we need to ask the question why around that as well.
Well, I see now where that is actually going to the Parliament. We'll read that. We're going to take a commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Step back in time and discover the rich history of the Cayman Islands at the National Museum. Located on the waterfront in Georgetown, the National Museum is proudly housed in the Old Courts Building, Cayman's oldest standing public building. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture. Open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And here's the best part, Saturdays are free for residents. Don't forget to visit our museum gift shop. Every purchase helps preserve our artifacts and the historic building we call home. Visit www.museum.ky for more information.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, we have Miss Theresa Pitcairn. We are expecting Dr. Steve McField to be in the studio with us later as well. So Miss T, we see where Parliament has set out some of the bills and motions that will be before Parliament at the third meeting, which takes place today. So the bills are the referendum, cruise berthing infrastructure, gambling and cannabis bill 2024, the Customs and Border Control Amendment Bill 2024, Beneficial Ownership Transparency Amendment Bill 2024, National Conservation Amendment Bill 2024, Anti-Sexual Harassment Bill 2025, the Grand Court Amendment Bill 2025, and the Criminal Procedure Amendment Bill 2025. In addition, the business will now include several government and private members' motions for debate. The government motions, motion number 6 of 2024-2025, the public consultation on the proposed amendments to the Immigration Transition Act 2022 revision set out in the Immigration Transition Discussion White Paper. So there's a immigration white paper that's out there. Government motion number 7, recommendations of the 2023 Electoral Boundary Commission. So it'll be extremely interesting to see, what that is all, about there. Meanwhile, let's kick off the discussion in relation to one man, one vote, and I'll use the politically correct term, which is, one person, one vote, because, we have all been brought up in a male-dominated society, and we now see where, pretty far back, laws have been changed where it used to say his before it now say his or hers and stuff like that, and it makes that distinction. I know that some people are trying to reverse that these days and everything else.
Our neighbors in the north, of us, yes, reduce it to 2.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So one person, one vote, rather than one man, one vote, in respect of the female gender and any other gender as well. So I'm going to go to Wikipedia, and hopefully with the new, what is it called now? Artificial intelligence. These things are updated, quite a bit. So it says one man, one vote, or one vote, one value is a slogan used to advocate for the principle of equal representation in voting. This slogan is used by advocates of democracy and political equality, especially with regard to electoral reforms like universal suffrage, direct elections, and proportional representation. Of course, we have, direct elections here in the Cayman Islands. So the history of it, the phrase surged in English language usage around 1880, thanks in part to the British trade unionist George Howell, who used the phrase one man, one vote in political pamphlets. During the mid-late 20th century period of decolonization and the struggles of national sovereignty, this phrase became widely used in developing countries where majority populations sought to gain political power in proportion to their numbers. The slogan was notably used by the anti-apartheid movement during the 1980s, which sought to end white minority rule in South Africa. In the United States, the one person, one vote principle was invoked in a series of cases by the Warren Court in the 1960s during the height of related civil rights activities. By the second half of the 20th century, many states had neglected to redistrict for decades because their legislatures were dominated by rural interests. But during the 20th century, population had increased in urban, industrialized areas in addition to applying the Equal Protection Clause of the Constitution. The United States Supreme Court majority opinion 5-4, led by Chief Justice Earl Warren in Reynolds versus v. Sims, 1964, ruled that state legislatures, unlike the U.S. Congress, needed to have representation in both houses that was based on districts containing roughly equal populations, with redistricting as needed after the decennial census. That is a 10-year census. Some states had established an upper house based on the following industrialization and urbanization. I'm going to skip this because I want to go to the part about the UK, which we probably, we have more of an interest in. So in the United Kingdom, the phrase was traditionally used in the context of demands for suffrage reform. Historically, the emphasis within the House of Commons was on representing areas, counties, boroughs, and later on universities. The entitlement to vote for the members of Parliament representing the constituencies varied widely with different qualifications over time, such as owning property of a certain value, holding an apprenticeship, qualifying for paying the local government rates, or holding a degree from a university in question. Those who qualified for the vote in more than one constituency were entitled to vote in each constituency, while many adults did not qualify for this type at all. Plural voting was also present in local government, whereby the owners of businesses, properties qualified as voters in regards to the relevant wards. And I'll pause there for a second and say, we see up until the 1960s in Bermuda, where that took place as well. And at one point in time, Bermuda had something like 36 constituencies, and the number of votes that you got, that you were allowed to vote, to possess, was based on property ownership. So if you own property in Devonshire and in Southampton and all of the other places, you got the opportunity to vote in each of those. So the whole concept of one person, one vote, and that equality is extremely important. Now, I've done a lot of research in the Cayman Islands, and I haven't been able to find yet when we established the justices and the vestrymen, what the voting system was like. We do know, for instance, that in Georgetown, in one particular election, there was a tie for three times. They had by-elections, and there was a tie each time. Eventually, Mr. Berkeley Bush did win it, but Mr. Malcolm Coe, and there was this tie, and Mr. Malcolm Coe was, saying there had to be fraud somewhere, for each time that they had that by-election. It was the same month. I think it was the month of August, and just days apart that they would have the election. But we don't know how people voted then, whether or not it was one person, one vote, or if you had the opportunity to vote for everyone. The other thing that we find interesting that we can talk about also is that until the introduction of single-member constituencies and one person, one vote being in our constitution, prior to that, it was always in our elections law.
Yeah. But I get it why, we had some concerns about equality of the franchise. I mean, you would have people from Georgetown having the ability to vote for 6 people, and then in Eastern and North Side, 1 person each. So I get it that one man, one vote was designed or intended to ameliorate something like that. But in my view, we're probably better off having some type of a hybrid system or some system that allows for national elections where you get to choose who you want to be who's your leader.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think it's impossible to get that done. And we have to ensure that whoever is actually running for office, they're going to tell you why, they're going to tell you the changes that they're going to make, and they must have a broader vision of what it's going to take to make this island successful. I mean, that's my personal view.
Okay, we're going to continue this conversation along this trend as soon as we return from our commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers, a compounding story.
I don't think people realize how pain creeps into your life. It has a way of robbing your strength. I really don't like taking prescription medication orally.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. They understand.
When it comes to compounded medication, it's personal. So whenever there's a problem with some medication or treatments that's not working right, then a physician will call me and say, hey, they're having bad side effects from this medication.
Compounding pain cream changed the game. Made special for me. Significant pain relief in the form of a cream. That is a new experience for me.
It's changed his life.
It worked.
Ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about compounding at West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Call 914-6449.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price and a service to make you smile. At Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
Step back in time and discover the rich history of the Cayman Islands at the National Museum. Located on the waterfront in Georgetown, the National Museum is proudly housed in the Old Courts Building, Cayman's oldest standing public building. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture. Open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And here's the best part, Saturdays are free for residents. Don't forget to visit our museum gift shop. Every purchase helps preserve our artifacts and the historic building we call home. Visit www.museum.ky for more information.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Ms. Theresa Pitcairn. We're talking about the concept of one person, one vote. Some of you refer to it as one man, one vote. Also, the concept of single member constituencies. We also want to note that the two should not be confused. They're not one and the same. You can have single member constituencies, and at the same time, if you wanted to have multiple votes,
That's correct.
you could have it. You also, could have one person, one vote, and multi-member constituencies as well. One of our listeners has said, Miss Theresa, let me read that, says it sounds like the concern is single-member constituencies and not one person, one vote. Your views on that? The concept of single-member constituencies.
Yeah. That's probably accurate.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably accurate in retrospect.
Well,
I'm still, yeah.
Sure, go ahead. No.
I'm still not certain that having single-member constituency addresses the concerns that I've just raised, right? Especially things like if you're running with a party and you don't know who your leader, you don't know who the leadership will be, you don't know what that whole party represents, and the whole and the thing is, the way we are currently organized, you see disparate group being involved in what appears to be ad hoc political party structuring.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because if one gleams from what is on the Marl Road, what we're seeing is people being collected at the very last minute to make the numbers to ensure that, you have sufficient people to get to form a government when you get elected. And that's not really significantly different from what's happened in the past when you're running independents, or what you call genuine or non-genuine independence. So this is just, in my mind, a camouflage of what already exists. And one of the reasons why I mentioned at the very beginning of the conversation is that statistics actually show that 70% of people who are incumbents get elected back. So with the number of, and I know I'm digressing a little bit because I'm thinking of something else as I'm trying to figure that out through as well. Look at the number of younger people that have entered this race. And this is not to suggest that they shouldn't enter the race at all. But we know numbers count. And when you're trying to make a change, for example, Georgetown East, and say if you had 5 people that are running in Georgetown East, and you had the Honorable Roy McTaggart, who has won that seat successfully with X amount of votes. If you have 5 persons running against that person, Dr. Roy, the Honorable Roy McTaggart, you're just going to split the votes, and he invariably will amass significant numbers to go right back in office, whether or not he's with a party or not. And so you're going to get that kind of splintering within the system, and you're going to come back to the same turtle meat negotiations, and we don't know if we're going to get a government formed within a month or the day after. And I think this is what, and again, the whole notion of what Mr. Gerard says about us, the former commissioner, about Caymanians and not being able to work together, and we'll go into the engine room to destroy it, because we seem to be unwilling or incapable of forming groups and being in a group where all ideas are not necessarily the same. None of these groups that are running have any different ideologies, OC. But what seems to be apparent is they simply can't get along. You have people who, who have their views, and I think primarily based on money as well. It seems as though you're able to form a party if you have the economic wherewithal to do that. And then people then fall in line because they don't have the economic wherewithal. And that's the other issue that's tied to campaign financing. looking at that whole thing. And I'm not in saying what I'm sharing what I'm sharing this month. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with having people with a lot of money form different organizations and so on. But what I am saying is that if you're going to do that and there's no equality in that whole conversation and discussion, it then, stands to reason that, there's an overarching view where there's little room for people who have different views. And I'm not saying that that's the case, but I'm saying that that's a possibility.
Okay, we have a caller on the line. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Connor.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, Miss Theresa.
Good morning.
It's so good to hear some sense being articulated after 47 years back in my native Cayman Islands. I am surprised that people cannot really get to the point of being able to focus on what's significant in terms of human relationships, personal, communal, and national. We want to talk about politics and governance. We copy things, but we don't understand that which we are imitating. And we need to have people who are capable of doing deep analysis, where they go and they don't just look at the surface of things, but they go as deep as possible to understand the basic concepts and how those concepts originated in historical development and in practice in different parts of the world. Our community is unique because it was splintered in terms of settlement. There was not the cohesiveness from the very beginning. It was not the same British company colonization pattern as in Jamaica, Barbados, Antigua, and the other Caribbean islands. It was a scattered settlement, and it grew up, and that's why we were referred to as the lawless Caymanians, and because there was no structure, no law, no nothing in place. After all these years, and after all the economic success, and having our young people educated, we're still behaving the same way, lawless. Because the lawlessness of the impanton and people who are there with money and feeling that they can just push people around and do what they want, that's lawlessness. These are people who've gone through the legal profession, they made a lot of money, and they still come out. And it's as if people have learned nothing. One of the things that I've learned in living abroad, living in America, living in England, living in Germany, is that human relationships are important, not just money. If you don't have the class, and when I say class, I don't mean it in an obnoxious moneyed way, because that is something that came perhaps during the Industrial Revolution when people could make money and they could feel at the end of the day that they're just like the people who form the class basis of the society through sacrifice and patriotism and so forth and so on. So we believe that you get to the top. And this comes back to Hero Day, and we choosing all this pettiness and all of that thing without our people even understanding what's all about. We just adopt. We assimilate into nonsense because we do not truly understand what we're being assimilating into our social, political, and morals fabric and structures. And this is the point, because it goes back again to learning. It goes back again to schooling. It goes back again to socialization. And if those particular types of indoctrination or socialization of people are forgotten, going back to OC and the Boy Scouts and the Cubs and his whole mother's regiment that I can still remember, people are formed. He is formed. The basis of his personality is formed, is structured, and there is a system of priority involved in it. We have tried to say that you can't get rid of the socialization and influencing institutions in the society and expect to have a formed concrete society that is cohesive and long-lasting. We have one that is temporary all the time. People are moving from one opinion to the next opinion, and there's nothing to keep the thing in place. Now, you know what happens as a result of that, which I've been predicting for a long time, is you have family breakdown. When you have family breakdown, you're going to have community breakdown. When you have community breakdown, you're going to have breakdown in the political system. The political system in this country is what we make our money from. Our stability was the most important asset. 40, 50 years ago, when people were making the decision to get the financial service system going in Cayman rather than have it in the Bahamas or other places like that. And now we're fighting, and we don't know what we're fighting for. What is Wayne Panton fighting for? More money? No, he doesn't need more money, so he's not fighting for more money. Well, if he's fighting for power, well, what is he going to use that power for himself? Well, he couldn't use all that power anyway because he gets power from money. So what group in the society is he really going to advocate for and try to help to rebuild? People are talking about the Caymanian middle class dying. Nobody's talking about what the middle class really is, because I'm afraid that many Caymanians that speak about middle class have not read one book in sociology or politics or economics that tries to define it, because we need to have at least a common definition of the words we're using. Otherwise, we're going to be always misunderstanding one another. There are too many professionals in this country in everything, and yet there are no discourses for people to see what we have in common in terms of what it is that we're defining.
Dr. McField, Dr. Frank, I sorry I have to interrupt you, but we have to go to our headline news at 9 o'clock. If you want to just hang on, just stay on the line, and we will continue the conversation as soon as we return from our headline news. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With a look at your latest news, I'm Jevi Ebanks. Sustainable Cayman says they will be presenting 500 signed letters from concerned community members to members of Parliament today at 9:45 a.m. in Hero Square. The advocacy group is calling on the PPM and TCCP to not attend Parliament today in order to force a lack of quorum and block debates about the cruise berthing facility and referendum bills. Parliament is slated to convene at 10 a.m. In regional news, Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel has called the U.S. plan to incarcerate migrants at Guantanamo Bay a brutal act. Cuban Foreign Affairs Minister Bruno Rodriguez said the decision shows contempt for human rights and international law. This follows President Trump's executive orders to allocate 30,000 beds at the naval base for deported migrants. The Guantanamo Bay prison camp, established in 2002, still holds 15 detainees from that time. In other news, ICE's November 2024 deportation list reveals over 1.4 million non-citizens facing deportation, including 5 British Virgin Islanders in the U.S. The list includes individuals with final orders of removal. While reasons for delays in the removal aren't specified, factors such as legal relief are noted. 15 countries are labeled uncooperative in accepting deported nationals, and 11 others at risk of non-compliance. That is your latest headlines. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We still have Dr. Frank on the line. We have other few callers queued up, but we want to give him an opportunity, to wrap up his train of thought as well. Dr. Frank, are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go right ahead.
I'll wrap it up really by slowing it down a little bit and just saying structure. What our society lacks is structure. We were boat builders, and we remember if you don't put the ribbon in there, you don't put the ribs in there, it's not going to, the boat is not going to last. Cayman Islands lack structure. The politicians refused from the very beginning my sociological analysis from back in 1977. That's why I wrote Time Longer Than Rope in 79. Because what happened to me is that I had a completely different outlook on society. I had an outlook that was trained. It was trained. And I did a lot of research in Notting Hill Gate in England to have understood how problems can become larger when you don't diagnose them right and apply the proper solution. That's what's happening here. We refuse to diagnose our problems because it was almost as if you're condemning your own society. I said from the very beginning that we lacked the cohesiveness. We needed early childhood education more than a middle school. I got fired. I got branded as a communist, as a black power person, and I was put on the street. Now, that's why I wrote Time Longer Than Rope, and we're hoping to do Time Longer Than Rope before the election so people can see exactly how clear my vision was. Not because I'm a prophet, but because I was an academic that was trained in the United States, in England, and in Germany, and I had the capacity, and that's why I was recruited. And Thomas Russell did so much to get me back here because they needed somebody, because the British government was aware from the very beginning that Cayman had a weak social structure, and if the economic development, the physical development was so fast or too fast, it would collapse at one particular point. I've been talking about social breakdown and political breakdown in this country now for quite a while. We are at that point. And if the people who want to save this country don't get together and start doing deep-rooted analysis and take information and advice from people like myself, they're going to lose this country. And we are seeing that from the very beginning, the Jamaicans came in here very organized, very professional, and they have taken over a large part of the power base in this society, the judiciary and the policing and anything that has to do with the maintenance of the human bureaucracies within this country. They were qualified to do, and they have taken up those positions. Caymanians have to look realistically. We just can't be chatting and complaining and going on. We need to become strategic, and that means we need to become dependent on each other and begin to hear each other's voices.
Certainly.
Talk here, sir, and let other people talk. But I'm beginning to believe that we are incapable of giving the respect to each other, which is necessary to build a cohesive society.
Certainly.
There's some truth
Doc,
in that.
thank you very much,
Doctor.
Doctor.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Misty, you were
saying?
No,
I as I listened to Dr. Frank, I was reminded of something that he shared with me a few weeks ago regarding Martin Luther King and, whether or not we're at that point where Caymanians are going to choose chaos over community. I know that there are other calls here.
Ms. Susan, we're going to go to the next caller. We're going to the WhatsApp caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Female speaker, Rambo. Good morning to Mr. Theresa.
Morning.
And good morning, Mom. Miss OC, this national vote, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a necessity. It's crucial. And it's significant in the Caribbean, right? I'm talking in henceforth, okay? In the whole concept of it, it's compulsory and obligated, requisite.
Rambo, can I ask you a question? How do we convince people? We keep hearing people say, "I want to vote for the person to be premier." I want to vote for an individual and have a say, but I don't live in that district. So the whole idea of a national vote, and it doesn't have to be a national vote for everyone. You can have a certain amount of constituencies that are represented, and the individuals are returned using single member constituencies, because we have 19 seats in our parliament, right? So let's say, for instance, if we took 10 of those seats, the Cayman Islands then were divided into 10 constituencies, single member constituencies, and 9 at-large seats, which means that you get the opportunity to vote for 9 individuals in a general election. How do we convince people to get to that stage? Because we know that Caymanians, when it comes to change, we are highly resistant to change. We like the old things that we have. We don't want to change and go to something different. We don't like that.
The younger people, though, they listen. Those Gen Z people, no, they're differential.
Yeah. So Rambo, how do we convince them?
Like I say now, we need provision, right? For the essence, like times the essence and the conceptual, right? So you need provision, time being prerequisite and procurement inquest. Say for instance now, we inter-island, tri-islands, right? Say for example, what's about the Canberra or West Bay or East End or whatever, that's disenfranchising me. And you see the 1-1-1 vote currently and presently, it dissociating the electorates, right? The last election, Miss OC, Miss Theresa, one candidate bought her brochure around a card by my front door. Imagine, nobody can look for me during COVID. Nobody can look for me. They don't look for everybody else. So that I voice my opinion, and I get to the point now. Every jurisdiction is overlapping us, so we operate like we in a fancy land, right? And this last election, what it proved now, is disempowering. It like a wild cards, normal game, codes, signs, right? And right now in this era, accomplishment need to be executed, attainment with substance, but we operate without substance. So like the national vote is a repository, local point blank. So the individual, we entrust them with the deposit money. So they're liable for it, liability and accountability. So we in Cape Man now, I understand we do the past in nostalgia. But like I see again, from years, go talk show over 10 years, different talk shows. I can't be Mr. Brock. Introduce him, introduction. Where I say we need contemporary era. Henceforth, future. You understand?
Okay.
We learn from the past and mistakes now.
Yep.
But like I said again, we need prerequisite in procurement inquest.
But Rambo, if I might, we shouldn't. Yeah, I agree that we learn from past mistakes, but we should also give respect to people who actually know better, know different. Because when I listen to persons like Dr. Frank McField, whether it's Steve or Roy or others, OC, these are people who come with a vision and a clear understanding of the issues. But we have to find a way where we respect those voices sufficiently and listen. As I was just listening, I'm thinking too, OC, one of the things that we can do, is have these conversations about one man, one vote right throughout the island, and engage, social media and so on, so that we start to make ensuring that conversations like this are regular and routine, and that you talk about it with your friends, and your family and stuff like that.
Yeah. Rambo, thank you
so much.
Thank you very much. We're going to go to a commercial break. We do have another caller on hold. We will take that caller as soon as we return. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Miss Theresa Pitcairn. Missing is Dr. Steve McField. The intention was, and we're along that track talking about single member constituencies and the concept of one person or one man, one vote. We do have a caller on hold. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good. On, Theresa, I don't know what you're laughing about. I guess you're saying Margaret it's again. Remember that song?
Yes. Good morning, Sir Arden, my good friend, the Honorable Arden McLean. How are you?
Well, I am supposed to be addressed as honorable, but that's sir. Don't put that too far up.
You're too much.
Because those things are not going to be worn on my life. I would like to join this conversation that the two of you are having about single-member constituencies.
Mm-hmm.
One man, one vote, in particular. From as far back as '92 when I ran first, if Chamber of Commerce still has those interviews that they did at that time, I advocated first one man, one vote from during that period, and that's a long time ago. That's what, nearly 40 years ago, I guess, 30 odd years ago. Anyway, I support one man, one vote. I hear Theresa talking about a hybrid, and also you were saying something about there are different ways we can do this, and that's true. That is true. But we need to have intellectual discussion surrounding it.
Yeah, for sure.
And I would like to wouldn't mind hearing Theresa's hybrid, because there's so many discussing these hybrids, such as voting for the premier. Now, I do not see how that can be done, with the exception of changing the entire system and have an executive system versus a legislative system. Because if we do it here, here's what is going to happen. Three people put themselves up as premier, and one get elected, and a group of like-minded individuals get elected. He cannot run the country. Stalemate. Then we're talking about all-island voting. Here is what is going to happen with that. And we can't say this in a vacuum. We can't say these things in a vacuum unless we look into them. That's why I'm cleaning these, because they're being said in a vacuum. Because people are aggrieved that they are no longer having 6 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 votes. If we do all island voting, what happens is, I want you to look at me, Theresa, for a minute. Use Arden. I would venture to say that I have some currency throughout this country. I have been very vocal. My father told me my mouth was going to get me in trouble. Then, so you still have to get representation from the districts. So I would run for East End, and someone else would run for East End as well, other people. And the people of East End would have chosen in majority that other person, and say we want Joe Blow as our representative. We don't want him, right? But yet, I probably would have gotten the popular vote throughout the country. I would have gotten elected.
And then it would be something called an at-large seat
That's
where
right.
your
That's correct.
the expectations are also that you would represent the whole country as a result of being.
That is the answer. One of the answers that we need to explore.
That's right.
Because I've also advocated for at-large candidates and members of parliament. That would satisfy those who has frivolized this and wants more than one vote. So they would vote for their constituency representative, then they would vote for 4 or 5 at large.
Right.
Correct.
The ballot would be long, but you would vote for those. It would take forever to count it, but that's besides the point. I don't want to see it go to electronic counting. I want it to be last 4 or 5 days, so we in anticipation.
I do the best.
But I don't know what is so obnoxious about single-member constituencies and one man, one vote. I mean,
And if I may interrupt you there, Mr. McLean, and if you ask most people who are advocating for it, they can't tell you themselves other than the fact that's what I had before.
Yeah.
I mean, let's look at America. We were glued to the televisions recently, looking at their election, right? And they talk about we're too small, or some constituencies are bigger than others, and this one carry more weight because it represents less people, blah, 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 blah. Now, OC, let's look at America. The presidential election was on recently. 2 people. They could only vote for one person. Let's look at California. California got like 40 million people in it. Some in the Midwest states got under 1 million people. So there's some inequality there. What they did was bring in a little hybrid called the Electoral College, which people don't even agree with anymore. People are leaning towards popular vote. The populist vote is what we need, is true democracy. And then, I shudder at how people are thinking. Theresa, you're right. We need to have discussions such as these so that people get a better understanding, so they're more informed as to what is happening in their country and how the parliamentary processes work. I heard one member on the radio the other morning saying that our house, what's the choice of words? Our house was one called the legislature, but is now parliament. That is not true. It is legislature whether you're in Europe, you're in Russia, you're in China. The nomenclature is parliament, House of Assembly, Legislative Assembly, what have you. It depends on what you want to call it. But the legislature is the making of laws for your country. The house is not. Then you put a building, but that's not the legislature. That is a nomenclature, you name it. These are the things that people need to understand, but yet those are the people we elect to represent this country and represent us. And then let me turn quickly to this thing that has been going on here about how this, and I got to be careful with OC, you know.
Yeah, you know that, right?
This CCP, but OC, you got to remember freedom of speech. Like, Constitution speaks of that. Okay. Anyway, this, let me say, the critters were promoting that they weren't going to vote for these things to go on the order paper. They have no right to determine what goes on the order paper. Their responsibility on the business committee is to arrange when it comes. The authority as to whether or not that gets at the next meeting lies squarely on the shoulders of the speaker. That's where it lies. But, you know, I said to someone that there is a difference between experience and experiences. You get experiences from being there and living it, or you read it, or you immerse yourself in it. And there is a little cliche, political cliche, and we use it all over the world well, my experience is in the democratic society. All the countries are democratic down this way. And we always say, lawyers does not a politician make. And it's a play on the lawyers. But I can tell you that Andre and Wayne has epitomized that cliche. You could tell me they sit down there does not understand this. Parliament is about numbers, Theresa. Okay? If you got the numbers, you win. If you don't got the numbers, you lose. That's how it works.
Going back, if I may interrupt you, going back then to the whole issue of the order paper, then what would be the options that are left for those who don't want this debate to take place in Parliament? I believe in the news this morning it was there was still a call out there to boycott the proceedings, not to provide a quorum, for Parliament to meet. What would be, once Parliament meets, what would be the options for those who are opposed to those things that are on the order paper?
All right, OC. Now you were reaching the gist of this matter.
Right.
Okay. The quitters ran from cabinet. Cabinet is enabled by Parliament, and we need to look at the Constitution about that and increasing the numbers, but we'll discuss that at a different time. The quitters ran out of cabinet after they were enabled by Parliament, saying that they were in the minority and nobody listened to them. Okay? That is the basis of them running. Okay? Now, they said they weren't going to support anything that is controversial. They go and leave only 7 in government. 7 out of 19, OC. Listen carefully now. I say the numbers matter. 7 out of 19 is in cabinet. All right? In the government, as a caretaker government. 5 in cabinet and 2 backbenchers. Right. That means that the other side has
11. Because the speaker is
11 members. Now you tell me that's not the majority. They run from cabinet, and now they run from being a minority, and now they're running from being a majority too. Go in Parliament and vote the bills down. Vote them down. Government is going to get up there. Miss Julia is going to get up there, and she's going to expound on the reason it's done and how it's supposed to be done. You expound on why it should not be done, and then vote it down. Government cannot win with 7 seats, but no, they don't want to do that. Their best option is for it not to be debated, because they know there are factions in this country that support the gambling, factions support the ganja, factions support the dog. They don't want to expose themselves. Watch out, see, if in every stage of Parliament, of the process, they can vote it down. They can vote it down on the second reading, debate it, and then vote it down.
Mm-hmm.
They can't vote it down on the first reading. That just says it's deemed to have been delivered and
read the first, yes.
Read the first time. The second reading, they can get up there, debate it, and vote it down. And that is their opposition to controversial laws. They can go in committee, they can go through the second reading, go in committee, and make every amendment they want into what Julia is bringing. Now, they are listening to these advocacy groups.
Now, how do the amendments go? You have to get a vote, majority vote in terms of the amendments that are put forward too, as well, right? On the second reading.
Not on second reading, in committee.
In committee, committee. Yes.
It goes to committee, and it must be the majority vote to approve that amendment.
Mm-hmm. So what you're basically saying is that at every stage they get an opportunity or at some stages they get an opportunity to force a vote and see where people are. I believe it is quite obvious that they don't believe that they have those numbers. They do not have the commitment from the PPM, who gave the support in the first place, that they would continue to support the minority to government. No one defined, what controversial or contentious issues were as well. Mr. McLean, I'm going to ask you to hang in there. We have to take a commercial break. When we return, we're going to give you an opportunity for some closing comments because we have a few other callers queued up. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our Custom Closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers, a compounding story.
I don't think people realize how pain creeps into your life. It has a way of robbing your strength. I really don't like taking prescription medication orally.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. They understand.
When it comes to compounded medication, it's personal. So whenever there's a problem with some medication or treatments that's not working right, then a physician will call me and say, hey, they're having bad side effects from this medication.
Compounding pain cream changed the game. Made special for me. Significant pain relief in the form of a cream. That is a new experience for me.
It's changed his life.
It worked.
Ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about compounding at West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Call 914-6449.
Step back in time and discover the rich history of the Cayman Islands at the National Museum. Located on the waterfront in Georgetown, the National Museum is proudly housed in the Old Courts building, Cayman's oldest standing public building. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture. Open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And here's the best part. Saturdays are free for residents. Don't forget to visit our museum gift shop. Every purchase helps preserve our artifacts and the historic building we call home. Visit www.museum.ky for more information.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In our effort to be as balanced as possible, we're trying to give everyone an opportunity, to get their thoughts in. We're going to give Mr. McLean an opportunity for some closing comments because we have other callers queued up as well. Mr. McLean, you still there?
All right, let me quickly do this.
Okay.
I am very disappointed in the members of the opposition. They ran from the minority when they were in the minority. Now they're running from being in the majority. They are now running again from the responsibility that have been entrusted. They have been entrusted with, which is to represent the people in Parliament. They want to boycott what's here now. We'll see. If they boycott, if the runners boycott, then they don't know where Joey stands. That leaves 13 members on the floor, which is the PPM, the sitting government plus Chris. That leaves 13 members. The House is quorate. The Speaker can proceed. And when the vote comes, the standing order says what amongst those present and voting. Now, 7 got beat 6, so Julius still wins. But if they went in there and voted, they don't know where Joey's at, but Joey promised that he wasn't supporting it, convinced Joey to say no, and convinced Joey to vote no, and then they have won the day. But Joey keeping his powder dry. That's the problem. See, I wonder what is next with these runners. They want to become the government, so that they come the government, and when we get pressure on OECD, FATF, and they don't get their way, they're running then too, and leave us in a bind that this country cannot proceed, and it's the cliche of it operating in perpetuity is lost because of them. They are not fit for office. They are runners, and they are not fit for office. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's grab the next caller, Miss Susan. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C.
Hey, good morning.
And good morning to Theresa.
Hi, morning.
Fortunately, I got to come behind Dr. Frank and then the former minister there from East End. Yeah.
It's Lord Graham.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I too, like how I'm disappointed in certain individuals. I too are disappointed in him for introducing this one man, one vote, or one vote, one man, or single member constituents. On my list, on my worst thing ever happened to Cayman list, that's on my list, and it's high up. One man, one vote, or whatever it is, one of the worst things ever happened to us. If I was Mr. McLean and Mr. Miller, what I would have done, I would have campaigned to have another member within my constituents, even though we didn't have the numbers, but because of the land mass the area they got to take care of. It's very huge, and because they do not want to implement district councils, I would ask for another member, because when I go on vacation or when I go 12 mile or 60 mile bank to go fishing, I would still have somebody there representing the people. Because you whether you like it or you got to go on vacation, you get sick, whatever, and because you don't have the council there to take up the slack, I would have asked for another member. And in that case, if they were smart enough, they would have realized they would have always been elected. 9 times out of 10, they would have been elected almost for life if we had 2 members within our small constituents. So that is one of the worst thing ever happened. But it sounds like now that he having a change of heart. He just introduced another, and that was more, what I used to talk about a national vote, almost a national vote, because I wanted, and I still want to vote for 19 people. I still would like to vote for 19 people because of us being such a small community.
But so that Graham, they do have at-large representation in communities like Turks and Caicos, even though the Constitution was suspended in 2009. And their Constitution is very similar to ours. I'm not sure about the success of the at-large government there.
Extremely successful. They have no problem with it. And they have a population of no more than about 30,000 throughout the whole islands in the Turks and Caicos. 30,000, and they have had at-large voting, at-large representation for decades. So have the British Virgin Islands at-large representation as well. Our problem here in Cayman is that we get accustomed to something, whether or not it is good or it's bad, and we don't want to change it no matter what. Lord Graham, go ahead.
Okay. No, that's what I just wanted to put out there. I got somebody, but just because you're on there, one mind, one word, I just wanted to stick to that. So I understand you got some other people queued up.
Okay, thank you so much.
You can go right ahead.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Lord Graham. Misty?
Yeah, so no, I'm not sure how successful, to be honest, OC, how successful it really has been in Turks and Caicos. So we can discuss that another day.
I can say that it has been. I've followed it. I followed it in BVI.
Me too. I know that there was an article as recent as November last year. And the only reason why I retrieved that article was because I was having a subsequent conversation with Steve about these things with the Boundary Commission and so on. So they're different, but there is no reason why we can't introduce something similar here that works for us and meets our needs. That's all I want to say with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I could almost confidently say that we're not going back to the multiple voting system where you have in Georgetown, you would have 6 votes. In Bordentown, you would have 4 votes. West Bay, you would have 4 votes. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, you would have 2 votes. And in East End and North Side, you would have 1 vote. And I used an analogy, and I will use it again. How would you feel if your dollar with the majesty on it and the turtle and everything else in West Bay, it was only worth 4 cents, 4 votes. Georgetown, it's worth 6 cents, or let's make it higher. 40 cents in West Bay, 60 cents in Georgetown, 40 cents in Bordentown, 20 cents in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, and 10 cents in North Side and East End. Would you call that equality? You would be up in arms about the value of your dollar. Well, your vote is valuable also, and it shouldn't be less valuable than any other vote that is cast in this country when it comes to general elections.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the reasons why I also took the opportunity to talk about voter apathy, especially among the young people, when they say that, they don't have any value. They talk about going to university. There's no plan. They come back home. They suffer. They lose their independence, etc., etc. So I didn't know. You were a little animated there, but no. So yeah, it's one of the reasons. Like I said, I thought that it was important to just invite us to consider one of the reasons, or some of the central reasons, why we have the young people being unwilling to come out and vote. Because if you can have them, these folks who are going to be our future, these are people who are going to be legislating for us, and they have no interest in democracy. They don't appreciate the role and its value, and they're actually copping out from now. That's not healthy for our community. Yeah. And as Dr. Frank already said, there are other people here who are organized to run this country. So when Caymanians are sleeping, know that there are other people who are here who are willing to work hard to take over and run the country as well. And that's all I will say with that.
Yeah. And you know what a lot of people don't realize? They're talking about voter registration and everything else. I wonder how many of them know that during this whole registration drive, even before it started in earnest, that the persons who were seeking to be registered as electors are those newly qualified Caymanians. And when I say newly qualified, I'm not talking about the Caymanian who just turned 18. I'm talking about the quote-unquote Caymanian who became Caymanian based on legislation. And they are the ones who have flocked to be registered. Folks, I don't know how many of you know it, but that is the case. When we're going to take our last commercial break. When we return, we'll talk a little bit. Yesterday, Sterling Drain, on his show Talk Today, there was a young lady who called in and spoke about her concerns and everything, but also spoke to the fact that she wasn't registered. And one of the reasons that she wasn't registered was the whole apathy thing and dissatisfaction and everything. And I like the way that Sterling dealt with her, because rather than chastising her, because some people would have said, and possibly me in my younger days, would have said, well, if you don't register to vote, then you don't have a say. But he took the opposite approach and pointed out to her, walk her through why it was important. And you can be registered and not necessarily choose to vote as well. The other issue that is so important, this whole thing about not wanting to serve on jury duty, and you as an attorney would know, maybe you don't practice that much in the courthouse, but if our Constitution makes provisions for us to be tried by a jury of our peers, then you better make sure you define who your peers are.
But this is not new. No, OC. This is not new. This conversation you're having right now, it is stale news. I know I have raised it for 20 years. I know Roy has raised it. Frank has raised it. Steve has raised it. Caymanians told us we were educated idiots for raising these issues. Now I'm willing to put that in the past and in the rearview mirror, because I now see a generation who are really actively conscious and in an awakening. This whole thing with riffraff, that was just, and I mean, people may think that, that was something that was very simple, but it's a reflection of how Caymanians know that they're treated. There was a young guy talking about how he was treated when he was going to school by people who had no interest in him. But it's good that this is good. Now let us see these people that are running. Let us see what they intend to do about that.
Okay, folks, we're going to take our last commercial break. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN Money transfer card. It cost me less, and perhaps she use the card, pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers, a compounding story.
I don't think people realize how pain creeps into your life. It has a way of robbing your strength. I really don't like taking prescription medication orally.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. They understand.
When it comes to compounded medication, it's personal. So whenever there's a problem with some medication or treatments that's not working right, then a physician will call me and say, hey, they're having bad side effects from this medication.
Compounding pain cream changed the game. Made special for me. Significant pain relief in the form of a cream. That is a new experience for me.
It's changed his life.
It worked.
Ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about compounding at West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Call 914-6449.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last segment of the show with Ms. Theresa Pitcairn. We have less than 10 minutes to go in the show. We have two callers. We're asking each caller to please be as brief as possible. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, OT, and morning to one of my most favorite people in the Cayman Islands, Steve.
Hi, baby. How are you?
I'm good. I'm going to try to be quick here, but I think just to summarize there, our political condition is a result of a human condition, and this is global. I would dare say a prime example of this is, for example, Russia going to war with Ukraine, and of course its people went running and didn't want to be a part of it because what they were claiming was, we're going to be victorious, we'll come in and over a weekend we'll overtake the Ukraine. And then all of a sudden Russia was found really shocked that these people wasn't supporting it. But back in the 80s, they would, I dare say, they would have done it in a blink of an eye, saying yes, we're all about this, and that is complacency is bred from being comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Things are going good, we're enjoying life here now. We become complacent, and we'll leave it to the few to take care of the major things for us. Only when do things blow up is when everybody reacts. So the human condition is being reactionary, right? And this is the problem that we have here. I am on many chat groups throughout on this island here, talking about politics, of course, because everything is wrapping up now. And all I keep hearing is one consistent thing: well, they better take care of this and they better take care of that. Well, what are you doing? Yeah. What are you getting? I can't be bothered with that. I got no time for that. I need to put food on my table. But yet then they're going to complain when they don't take care of it because their politicians are not taking care of them. So the thing is, how do we get that message out there saying you have to be an integral part of this? I do not know. I've been asking that question, and if anybody can come and answer it, that would be awesome, and I think they would make a lot of money globally, because that is a question to be asked across the world here. But what I would implore is that the people who came on pay attention to who it is that's running out there. Actually avail yourself to the information. You do not have to attend the town halls or the yard meetings. You have social media now, and of course there is a few that don't. But that, you know, at the end of the day, we have to look at the fact that the amount of people that vote, the people that represents everybody, is dismal. It really is dismal, even though we can claim to have a better turnout rate than most other places. Everybody's screaming in the U.S., but then nobody showed up in terms of population ratios. And so that's the same case in the UK and Germany and what have you. So my thing is get more involved. Use all the tools available to you. Yes, it's boring and what have you, but it's the most critical part of your life. It affects every aspect of your life, right down to what everybody talking about these days, the cost of eggs. Get involved, please. And anyway, with that, I thank you for your contributions. T, I always look forward to hearing your positions, and it was a fantastic show. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller, and thanks for your contribution as well. Let's grab our last caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hi, good morning, O.C. and Theresa.
Good morning.
I want to say I agree with what that gentleman said before, but I thought partially tail end of your whole show because I just getting off of work. But one thing I got to say, O.C., I've seen a lot of individuals coming up to woodwork lately for this election. I don't know if they're there to kind of make a change or they're there just to cut votes, because some of the people have been pushing money so these individuals could come in and anybody that they don't see fit in the different district, they'll put a little person in there. Might be to make a change, but just to make sure they stifle the person that would stand chance to get back or get elected. And to me, that's a waste of time, because if you not got intentions, great intentions for our people to say, well, let me find somebody, and if I go support them financially, to be the change, to be the voice of the people that we've been longing for a very long time. Makes no sense to be throwing money around. Unfortunately, that has been a norm for the last couple of elections. For one, I will always vote because I'm voting for change, but I'm not voting for the people that I grew up in my household to say, you got to go for the red or you got to go for the green. I'm not about that. I want our people to come off a needs assessment that not sick and they're not fatherless or motherless. I want them to get jobs. Stop giving people roadside job cleaning. If you're giving them jobs, take them off a need assessment and let it be a career job that they can make money to take care of themselves and their family. You can't be waiting until once or twice a year to offer our people, watered down jobs that can't even pay them a month's rent. You understand? That don't make no sense. Or see, we've been crying this cry for many moons. Immigration, banking, inflation, or people out of jobs. You got listen the most, maybe probably about 2,500 Caymanians that out of a job. And you're going to tell me you keep year after year giving people that got careers and stuff and they got qualification. But to know the whole, my son is similar in that same situation, can't get a job because of people that decided, oh, well, this person we can't threaten them by work permit issues. We can't check them to say, well, boy, the contract we go cancel. So therefore, they're not going to take on these people. And I already say this, Ms. Theresa, I want you and OCs to be pushing this. Government needs to take hiring of jobs from certain HRs and put it at one entity. The work system that they created is a garbage and a joke thing, and it's an injustice to our people. When it comes to any jobs in this country that pays anything over $100,000 per annum, they're supposed to be going through a government entity, whereas if the victimization and the hypocrite and the favoritism that's been happening in this country for far too long, our children and our people deserve more than this, than just a handout. They deserve more than this. And I hope to God that some of these hopeful politicians got this in mind and not just going in to run a relay where they're passing on the bottom from one friend could say they're retiring, they're passing the baton on to the next one. I don't want to hear that no more. Okay. See, we want change, and we cannot get change by voting the same way or accepting the same mentality. And during politicians coming around, someone will come to your house all year round. And the phone number that they got now, in the next 2 weeks, we'll get them on it. In the next 2 weeks after election, you won't get them on that same number. And every time you back up them in the supermarket or throughout the street, I've been busy, I go call you back. See, if you don't want us to have to run from this island, the indigenous Caymanian, everybody on radio land, pay attention to who you're voting for and why you. I'm not swearing no allegiance to no party. I swear allegiance to our people that's going to be suffering here in this country and don't deserve it. A lot of them did their work back in the golden day, in the old young years. They want more opportunity in the golden years. Some of them still want to work, and they're able to work. Give them meaningful jobs, those days.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, caller, for that. I'm going to read one last WhatsApp message. Person says, good morning, OC and Ms. Theresa. It's past time. Sorry, the country needs to gravitate to a modernized constitution. Interesting. One man, one vote is at the level of mere community operatives. We need to focus on voting national voting and create a lower house for community leaders. Then we will have a true opposition house, adapt the UK system, where laws that are passed have to go through the House of Commons as well. There are some who have advocated for us to have a bicameral legislature. And at one point in time we had it when we had the magistrates and vestry as well. Ms. T, opportunity for some closing comments?
Yeah, so we have to be sensible when we vote. And by being sensible, we have to do the maths. We have to figure out who are more than likely to get elected, simply because with this stew that we're now seeing, with so many people running, the votes are going to be split. So you can guarantee a number of the incumbents that are there getting back in office. So what I'd like to do, if Radio Cayman has an appetite for this, is to have regular conversations with you, the community, to engage you in your thoughts about what you want, what you think is important for your island's success. I mean, I just listened to the gentleman talking about the stuff about his son being unemployed. We need policies that are consistent, policies that are transparent, and policies, and I make no apologies for this, that puts the Caymanian people first. I'm so tired of us apologizing and people calling us xenophobic simply because we do what other people do and want to be first in our own community. So I would like to continue this conversation and talk a little bit about voter apathy, encourage especially our younger people to get more engaged and listen and find the social media opportunities so that we invite them to have conversations as well about stuff like this. And finally, Caymanians got to be really, really smart this go round, because this election, I know we've said it in the past about elections being important. This one is monumental. This one is going to be transformational, so we've got to get it right.
And what I continue to say to people is when they tell you what they're going to do based on their manifesto, you need to know more than that. You need to ask them, tell me how you're going to do it.
And
because a promise is a comfort to a fool.
And we have experience where we have people run in on a particular manifesto, and day one they change everything. So we got to really be really smart.
And one final comment that I want to make to those persons who use as a crutch for not registering the fact that they don't want to serve on jury duty, you're fearful of generational Caymanians being overrun and being affected. Well, you're opening up the door for someone else to control your future when you step into that courtroom as a defendant at a jury trial, and you are not being tried by a jury of your peers.
But
think about that.
OC, you hear it all the time on the chats where people, and again, I'm going to be just transparent and honest. Our bench is constituted by persons who have a different experience from ours. Let's just be honest. And it's one of the reasons why you see people are complaining about certain issues and certain results and certain sentences are complete or even diametrically opposed to what our kids actually experience. So I'm all about having transformational and transparent conversation, but let's be real.
Ms. T, I want to thank you. Thank you very much. Folks, we've gone over time by about 4 minutes. Don't forget John Sterling doing mics at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord, please bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury.
And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient.
Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama.
And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice.
And the Cayman Islands National Museum. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture.
If they are talking about us,
living in your head rent-free all this time,
we must be relevant. Radio